our...
Excellent with LP. How is stage with Stone Temple Pilots? That is very interesting. I think Yoda sent that one.
It's someone that's not...
Chester, despite having experience in show, excellent with LP. Well, the music is totally different. The style of the bands is completely different. But the experience on stage is very similar. I mean, we all really have a good time performing together. The quality of the musicianship is really is the best, and so for me, I'm having a great time, and I know that the other guys are having a great time up there too. So the shows are I mean, we're crushing it every night. We're having a great time, and the songs are great.
Yeah.
So the audience is chanting STP, and that's always a good sign.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's very similar.
Let's see. So when will your whole album come out? We want more STP. Well, I think what we're going to do is we're going to make another EP and be the first to release a double EP.
And then what's great about that? What's great about that is then you can listen to them all back to back.
Right.
As an album.
Right.
Right.
So,
yeah, I mean we have limited time. I am in Lincoln Park, and I've got responsibilities there. We're working on a new record. So for us to take advantage of maximizing our time, we need to record, in like hyper packed periods of time. And so for us, I think we're recording smaller amounts of music, and then releasing them more often is probably the way we're going to go for a little while.
Yeah. It's a little more enjoyable being in the studio recording 5 songs rather than 10 songs. It's,
it's like the focus is so tight, and if you don't like a track, we write another one and we work on that song.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Chester, I read you rehearsed 30 songs for the tour. I love that. We've only seen 15 or so. When we bust out some new ones or change the setup. We're playing 17 songs. We rehearsed those 17 songs. And we actually are adding today. We're adding Meat Plow, and we're also adding our new song Blackheart, which is a new single that came out, actually hit the radio today. And we're also most likely going to be adding in the next couple shows Lady Picture Show. Nice. So that's I don't know if that song will be replacing a song on the set or if we're going to just add it, but my brain can only handle so much information.
I was going to say Chester has taken on a great deal of information, musical information, and this is our first tour as the new Stone Temple Pilots, and I think Chester has done a remarkable job of not using a teleprompter, not using notes, doing the songs, singing them great, and it's a lot to digest, and I think he's done a great job of doing so.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate that.
And it's going to be, like I said, it's the first tour. It's the 10th show into our first tour together. This will all unravel and all unfold as far as new material, and tonight will be, like Chester said, the night that will change up the set a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, we have like lots of really big ideas of going out and playing an entire album, as a show, whether it's Core or Purple or Tiny Music, whatever it is that we want to do. But we're going to I would like to take things one step at a time.
Yeah.
Because the last thing I want to do is be reading notes off of a stage, because my brain is it's like a shotgun blast of information. It's just, it's like so.
Yeah.
But that's a good question. Can we describe the song Blackheart, what it's about? Can it be considered as a love song? You know, I try to, typically I try to let people take what they want from the songs that, lyrically, that I write, and kind of turn them into their own thing. But I think Blackheart's a pretty black and white kind of song. I mean, it's very descriptive about the kind of person that this guy is in the song. Takes advantage of women, and actually kills them. So I don't know if it's a love song. I think that there's an element of love coming from the women because they fall for this guy, but he's a predator, you know, and that's kind of the vibe of the song. I hope I didn't ruin it for everybody, but you know, at the same time, you know, songs are open for interpretation. That's what they're all about. You know, I write songs all the time in Lincoln Park that are very specific for me, and then Mike takes a hold of them, and then he writes lyrics that matter to him, and somewhere we kind of combine our separate stories into one thing, and at the end of it, it turns into this very ambiguous song that can mean anything to any person that hears it. And so I really prefer not to tell people what the songs are about, but let them kind of figure them out for themselves. Will you shoot music videos for any of the songs from High Rise? Possibly, you know. We're kind of taking things one thing at a time right now. You know, we're independent. We're doing everything on our own, you know, and so you know, in order to shoot a big budget video, you know, I mean, that's
I'm gonna mortgage my house.
That's a year's tuition at college for my son next year, so I don't know.
Mortgage our house.
Yeah, so you know, we'll take things as they go. You know, the more successful we are, you know, the more we have at our disposal. So it really comes down to the fans and how much support they give us, you know, as we move forward. Does it make it easier to remember the lyrics since you grew up with their songs? I think lyrically, no, but melodically, yes. I've never really been a guy that, like, from my wife, for example, hears a song, and somehow she knows all the words, like, the second she hears it. I could listen to a song for 20 years and still get the words wrong. So from a melodic standpoint, yeah, it helps. But I have like a process of how I learn lyrics, especially in this case with SDP.
Yes, you do.
It's a pretty boring process, but I try to write, listen, sing the lyrics over and over and over again until they become second nature, and then I usually have that down before we get to rehearsals. So
it's pretty bad when I wrote them and I can't remember them.
Next. How do you usually start off writing a song?
Well, I mean, I think the thing that attracted me to writing music is there's really no rules. Writing a song can be many different avenues of inspiration. It could be something you're going through in life. It could be something that you're listening to at the time that could spark something. It's there's really no rules to it. I think you know, that's what's great about it. I think it starts off in many different ways for me personally, writing music, and that's what I enjoy about it. How about you?
You know, I found that when I try to sit down and write, if I'm like, you know, I need to sit down and write songs, there's only so many notes, which is really great. You know, you have eight notes to choose from, so it's kind of easy to put any number of them in any order, right?
Yeah.
So that part's kind of easy. When I've done that in the past, I typically write a lot of stuff that doesn't matter. So I've learned from my process usually is I sit and I wait until I'm inspired, until something is pulled out of the ether, and it's kind of like, you know, I think musicians kind of have an antenna that other people don't have. We have kind of access to these things that people who aren't musicians or they don't really have that access to it. And so for some reason it's like, you know, a song will just come and it happens very quickly, and my brain gets excited and my heart gets excited, and then it's a matter of like scrambling to capture the idea before it vanishes back into the ether. So for me, I always keep my phone on me. I've always got the ability to record an idea or a melody, and then I can be anywhere, anytime, and have that inspiration. And then from there, I kind of start building the song from that point. When can we expect to see some more tour dates? We've got tours booked all the way up through, I think, February of next year. I am in the studio with Linkin Park. We have a lot of work to do on our next record, and I know that next year we're looking to put that out. So we're kind of like trying to balance the two schedules to properly allow both bands to really, be successful. So up until February, I think, is where we've cut it off at this point. So I'm sure that there'll be some dates added next year. I just don't know when those are going to be. We'll have to see how that works around LP's schedule as well.
Any chance of Richard Patrick joining on stage for a song or two from Army of Anyone? Loved the Piece of Pie collaboration. There's been a lot of work to be done here, and Dean and I have talked to Richard about doing some Army of Anyone, but it's just a matter of I think concentrating on the STP show firstly, and just making sure, like the question before, is we're constantly trying to learn new songs and throw in STP songs. That's the main concern here. But you never know. I think during this we could probably maybe get something together. But right now I think Richard's really liking coming up on stage and doing Piece of Pie with us. What will the rest of STP guys doing while Chester is back with LP? I'm personally going to start a worm farm.
Night crawlers are us.
Just joking. I was watching Dumb and Dumber the other night. I just wanted to say that in an interview for once in my life. I think we'll be working on new music. I think that's the logical thing to do is keep on working on new music. I have a studio in my house, in my basement, which is where the EP was recorded, and I think there's plenty to do with working on music, and that's what we'll be doing. We're making plans for the double EP.
LP and STP tour.
Yikes!
Wow,
dude, you're gonna get paid a lot of money on that. Dude. You're gonna be double duty.
It's just like 5 shows, fucking, and then I die.
Yeah. Chester Bennigton will become a wind-up toy for.
That's a really great sounding idea. For everybody that is not me. I think that there may be sometime in the future where we get up and do something together at some point for fun.
Yeah.
but actually going out and performing, an hour and a half with the STP, and then an hour and a half to 2 hours with Linkin Park, sounds like I would be able to do that once, and then die. It would be like the life expectancy of like a fly. It's like a good balls out 24 hours.
Yeah. And
then everything's over.
And then it clicks over to the beginning of the $6 Million Man. Right?
Yeah.
We have the technology to rebuild him.
You can call it the Worm Farm Tour, brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. There you go.
What was the easiest and hardest part of joining your favorite band? It's I would have to say actually making the decision to do it was simultaneously the easiest decision and the hardest decision, because I do value this band. I do care about their legacy. I care about all the guys in the band. And so it's one of those things where I care about their fan base. I also care about Linkin Park, and I care about our fans. And I have a family, I've only got, there's only so much toast to spread butter on, and there seems to be a lot more butter than there is toast. So, it's one of those things that it was very exciting. It was an instantaneous yes, this would be awesome, I'd love to do this. And then at the same time, it was like, holy shit, I'm gonna do this. The only option is great. And that's a pretty big task. But I mean, that's what we all expect every time we go in the studio, with no matter what we're doing. Whether I'm collaborating with an artist, whether I'm working with Linkin Park, whether I'm making a Dead by Sunrise song, or whether I'm working with Stone Temple Pilots, like, my expectations are at the highest level for myself and for the people that I work with. So that was a very good question, and I'm glad you asked.
What's your favorite song right now to play on stage? To be honest with you, they're all my favorites again. I think Chester has brought a new life to these songs, and I think with that energy, the four of us are all feeling that energy of these songs, and I think that energy is really communicating to people in the audience, and I think the whole set is my favorite. It's really great to, this guy added 10 years to my life, and I feel like I'm 10 years younger, and that's the way, I go back and listen to these songs the way they were recorded, and I still want to retain that energy of how those songs were written, and I finally feel like we, as the four of us on stage and the audience, are feeling that energy. So I would say the whole set is my favorite.
Are you guys thinking of bringing the acoustic mini set back at some point? Actually, yes, we have been talking about that quite a bit. We've already got a lot of acoustic material that we could play. We considered doing some of that on this tour, but because this is our first time out, we wanted to kind of bring a higher energy set. We wanted to really kind of stick more to the electric side. But yeah, I mean, I might post this memo of us rehearsing Pretty Penny in your basement.
Oh, yeah.
That was unmiked and just pure. It was just recorded on my phone on a stool as we did everything a cappella and acoustically, and it's ridiculous how good it is. And so but we've got a bunch of material that we could play, and also that we want to do as the audiences become more used to the idea of us moving forward, and coming to see STP play in bigger and better places, we'll definitely bring an acoustic mini set back in the fold. Do you have any habits before entering the stage? Well, for Robert and I, we always have to warm up our vocals to a certain degree. I like to get into a headspace of being at the venue and kind of being on and seeing the stage and saying hi to the crew and the other guys and the other bands, and kind of feeling that energy of being at the gig. So yeah, there's some certain things we like to huddle together and crack some jokes before we go out.
Yeah, I unfortunately have to, from playing bass with my fingers can't always keep up with the intensity of how hard I'm playing, so I have to habitually put crazy glue on my fingertips, my two fingertips. So not always my favorite thing to do, because the stuff that you have to spray on the crazy glue burns like hell. Man, so that's a habit I wish I didn't have to always do.
But it's pretty cool. He turns his fingers into hammers, which is pretty awesome. Yeah. Any other bands you look forward to sharing the stage with? We just played a show not too long ago with Everlast, and man, that was a good vibe.
Amazing, great band,
really solid band, great songs. The vibe is I think what I look forward to in a show is something that isn't obvious, but also feels compatible and makes sense when you see the show together. And I know after we played that show, we were all like, dude, we gotta play more shows with each other, because
great band.
The vibe between the bands was great. The vibe between the crew was great. The audience was really enjoying the songs. I mean, they played them so freaking tight, man. It was so good.
Yeah.
And Eric's voice, dude, it just gets better.
Yeah.
It gets bluesier and more emotional, and you can just tell that they love what they do. So that'd be fun to go out with those guys on a tour, full tour.
All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you joining us at WJRR.com. Right down on that stage in just a little while, Filter and the Stone Temple Pilots will take the stage. I hit the airwaves at 7 o'clock. Make sure you hang out, and I will have Blackheart for you just after 9 o'clock this evening. Thanks for joining us at WJRR.com.
Thank you.
Chester, Robert, see you guys later.
Thanks.
Rob, thanks.